What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one, and this one is the pregame motherfucking show. Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode motherfucking 5. And as always, I have motherfucking guests with me. Great guests with me. But first, we have to get to my man, my right hand, and you let you know. Motherfucking show. Is that me? Game of Thrones, Season 7.
Mute it.
Is that me doing it?
I think
guests with me. Great guests with me. First,
that's either Don or Quinn.
Is that me?
I think it's coming from Tony.
Mute it. Somebody's got to mute their shit. That's either Don or Quinn.
It's me, god damn it. You know, I haven't done that in a long time, god damn it, but I did do it. So let me go back to that again. You know who it is, Don Tony Teflon, Teflon TV, and my right hand as always, and you know my right hand is on the trigger, my ninja, the king of the north, Moji Osmond.
Yo, what's going on, folks? It's Moji, the king of all this, Mojini, baby. Glad to be here, Teflon. What's up, man?
No doubt. And we are joined by two guests right off the bat. One straight off the bat, my man, Don of Ice and Fire, the one and only Don Willie.
Valor Mogolis, everybody. It's your boy Don Willie back again. So glad to be with, Tony Teflon, Moji, and of course, next guest. I will let you introduce him since this is your show.
Well, thank you very much, Don. I appreciate that. And our next guest we have right here needs no introduction, but I will give him one anyway. It is Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire.
Hey guys, I'm like really happy to be here. Check out my channel. This is my snake Nagini.
Yeah, he rolling his Jake the Snake tonight. He made DDT that ass. Watch it. Unless you might get DDT. What up to everybody up in the motherfucking chat? What up to all y'all out there? You know I got nothing but love for you. So we're going to go around the horn real quick, and we're going to give some ratings and some quick thoughts about what they thought about the episode. So let's start with Don Willie. We'll get a rating and quick thought of what you thought about last week's episode.
So best episode of the season so far. I think no one can disagree with that. Probably one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones, period. But I still think there's more they can give us. So I held off on giving it the super high rating. I gave this one an 8.75 because I think that the real 10 is coming. I think we haven't gotten the real 10 yet, though.
I hear you. What up, Quinn? What do you think about this?
I thought the episode was very good. The battle sequence at the end obviously made up for like the lower points of the episode. It was extremely well done. The dragon, I've never ever seen a dragon anywhere that looks that good. Like it looked extremely believable. It was phenomenal. And there was some other stuff that kind of didn't make sense, like because they pretty much given up on like making the traveling times make sense. So that was a little off. And then I thought some of the dialogue was a little wonky at times, but for the most part, it was a very solid episode. Definitely the best of the season.
No doubt. Mojini.
Oh man, y'all know most of us are book readers first, show watchers second. We are so far removed from what we think are going to happen in the books. I'm so glad D&D took the routes that they took, because at the beginning, last season when stuff kind of fell off the rails before it picked back up, we were afraid D&D weren't going to do this right. These guys are smashing it out of the park. My rating last week was a 9 out of 10. I'm sticking to that 9 out of 10 after watching the episode like 10 million times. I don't think they're going to top it this season. If they do, something's getting a 10 out of 10. I hope they do, Don Willie. I hope they get a 10 out of 10 with an episode this season.
No doubt. Don had to put on the headphones. I can't take it. Mo, I think we hear a little TV in the background. If that's you, I'm not sure. Listen, I got to give it the 10 out of 10. I'm going to go straight up with the 10 out of 10 right now. If they give me something better, maybe I could have gave them a little bit lower, anticipating something else. But I'm going to say top to bottom, when you look at the dialogue in the episode, the interaction with the characters in the episode, the actual episode itself, and you get to the actual battle itself and everything else, got to give it a 10 out of motherfucking 10 when it comes down to that. Thought it all came together very well. Liked everything about the episode and stuff. And we are definitely going to get into this episode and stuff a little bit deep before we go into talking about this preview for this next episode. So if you have questions about this episode, please put them in the comment section. My man Mogini scooping up questions, and we're going to put them to the side, and we're going to answer them as soon as I can. T-Baby says, I gave it a 9. Ain't no way Jaime can fight Dothraki. Sorry, but not really. So T-Baby, you see them fighting the Dothraki. So stop hating, and you seen what happened. You got to go with what the show lets him do, not what we want him to do. And this reason, he fought him. He almost got killed, but he did fight him, and he did a decent job. So we can't do that. Is Daenerys' storyline Aegon's / John Connington? That's from Curtis Williams right off the bat. So we'll answer that question before we go into other stuff. So do you think that they gave Aegon's storyline to Daenerys? Quinn, what do you think?
I don't think so. I think Daenerys' storyline is just an amalgamation of Daenerys' storyline from the books. Maybe there are elements mixed in, but I think for the most part, she's just going to be like a faster version of what happens to Daenerys in the books.
No doubt. Down, Willie?
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, we got a field of fire. We got her coming in from Dragonstone. I mean, remember, she lost her first battle. Aegon lost his first battle. Now she's running around talking about bend the knee. And I'm thinking that it's going to wind up being Jon bending the knee and giving up being king in the North for all of this, later on. So, yeah, it's pretty much mirroring Aegon's storyline, obviously with the exception of her having like 2 husbands and all that.
No doubt. Mogini? Mo? Oh, Mo being in a second.
My bad. I got it. My bad. I was muted. Yeah, definitely you can see the traces of Aegon all over this. The 3 dragons, just like Don Willie just said. The whole storyline, man. The Field of Fire 2.0. Everything is there. And D&D really don't have to go out of the box. I mean, they can just use all the history. They can use all the lore that's there. I hope we get some Blackfire stuff. I don't think that's out of the realm. You got Varys there with Dany. Will they give her some of the Fagon storyline, or are we already way past that point? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they kind of did. I think a lot of they're dicing it up here and there. So we hear a lot of that stuff. We see it in Cersei. I think got a lot of the Aegon stuff this year. And they may give a couple of bits and pieces to Dany, but I don't think it'll be a direct correlation to that storyline. I think, and when you have everyone else that trying to speed through this season as fast as they possibly can when they're doing that, that's basically what we get when we have that. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it seems like it is, but I don't actually think that it is 100%. So let's, as in tradition, I was on the show Game of Owns podcast, so please check out the Game of Owns podcast if you hasn't. And they have a thing that they like to do. It's called Your Favorite Own of the Week. So I would like to give a little tribute to them and ask y'all, what is your favorite moment of last week's episode? Quinn?
Okay, so my favorite moment is definitely when they hear the Dothraki coming, and then Jaime's like, "We can hold them off," and then you hear the dragon scream, and then Daenerys comes down and she says, "Dracarys." Yeah, I yelled out loud when that happened. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I got goosebumps. I'm not gonna bullshit. I really, truly got goosebumps on my fucking body when that shit was going down, and when she said that shit. That shit was no joke. What do you think about that, Don Willie?
Yeah, I gotta agree. And especially, me coming from sound design background, like I was listening to it in the headphones, and that sound that Drogon makes right before he sets off the fire. I'm like, I don't know what sound that was, but that is like the best like charge up sound that I've ever heard in my life. And I like you, Tony, I got goosebumps from that shit. I was like, this shit is just straight wild. I love it, and I can't wait for more.
No doubt. The Don is drinking tonight. You see the Don drinking. You know the Don usually has my Stark mug, and since I've had this channel, I've had that Stark mug, and that's been like 4 years or so. But I'm getting a new mug, and next time you see me next week, you will see the new House Teflon TV mug. Mojini, what is your favorite own of last week's episode?
Oh man, can I give two? Can I give two?
Yes, you can.
When the motherfucking Dothraki riders jumped on the back of the horse and was standing up, that shit gave me a wiggle down my spine I never felt before, dog. When the dude stood up, he stood up and pulled the arrow back on the back of the horse. That's number one. Number two is when Drogon caught the arrow in the shoulder. Because I never thought I'd catch feels for a fucking fake dragon like that, dog. Caught all sorts of feels. I thought he was dead. I thought he was dying, bro.
They give you that little that sound. You know what I mean? They do that hurt sound. They did that same shit with Summer when they had him die. You hit a little door. You know,
Yeah.
That's that little sound. That one little sound evokes so much fucking emotion. And it was that damn sound that dragon makes. And we never heard a dragon make a sound, but if it got hurt, it sounds like it would probably sound like that. And I agree. It was just an amazing, amazing shot. I would have to say my favorite own of the week is I agree with what y'all said. I'll try to think of something else that happened so that we can have something else to talk about. But I like the fact that when Bronn was going to get the scorpion, and when he dropped the money, he looks at the money and he leaves it. Because at that particular time, you start saying to yourself, you're like, listen, man, listen to this. It don't matter how much money you got if you ain't alive to spend that motherfucker. And at that time, he realized that shit, and he left that bag, and he kept going on to do what he has to do. But we see a little bit of dissension. It seemed like a little bit of heat between Jaime and Bronn. Now, maybe it's just me over-guessing, or maybe it's just me drinking. But Quinn, I'm going to ask you this first. Do you think that it's possible that there is a little dissension between Bronn and Jaime? Like he was a little upset? Was that what they were going for there, or is that just me bugging?
I think it was kind of just like banter, like because like in the end, Bronn does save his life. So, but then also that could just be because this is the man that owes me money, so I got to save him. But no, I took it as like just kind of like banter back and forth. I didn't think there was like any real dissension between the two of them.
No doubt, Don Willie. What do you think, Bronn and Jaime? They good? I mean, he said he ain't paid him. He ain't paying me. I want my castle. You promised me this. You didn't give it to me. Is that a little dissension they was talking about there?
I don't know if it's so much dissension, so much as it's frustration. I mean, remember, Bronn is a sellsword. Look, he just wants to do the job, get paid, and retire in a big ass castle like he was promised. And like you saw it also when Jaime told him to go get the scorpion. He was like, yeah, the scorpion's over there. He's like, all right, well, go get it. He was like, I can't fight with one hand. He's like, you motherfuck you. You know, that's the look he had on his face. But, you know, I think once he got on the scorpion, he was having fun, you know, until the fire came at him. No
doubt. As I said, it reminds me of a Jaws movie. This looked like the Jaws movie when he was holding the electrical log and he was waiting for Jaws to come and he bites that log. And the way he's like, come on, Sharky, come on. Same situation right there. Mojini, before we get into this chat that we just, the super chat that we just got donated, what do you think about Bronn and Jaime? Is there anything jumping off there or something else going on?
Definitely. There's definitely something jumping off. Jaime promised Bronn a castle, man. A castle. You know how much a castle costs? You know how much a mother effing castle costs with all the servants?
Not a condo. He didn't offer him a condo, right? Not a co-op. He said a castle.
A castle. And not only did he promise him a castle, but all the lands and titles that come with it. They was trying to marry Bronn off to that, whatever that girl's name was in King's Landing, that Huddersfield girl. What was her name, man?
In the show is it Stokeworth? Lady Stokeworth is the show.
Lady Stokeworth, and Bronn didn't even care. Bronn killed the sister. Said he was gonna kill the sister to get the castle. So you think he's not gonna still be salty? Most definitely, man.
Yeah, I think that it's quite possible. It seemed like, as Quinn said, it could just been bantered, something to have them say. But, yeah, you know, sometimes when you're friends with people, you say stuff to them, but you don't disrespect them when you say it, but you're still trying to get your point across. And I think that this is what he did. And he did save Jaime's life at the end, but he has to save his life, as Quinn said, too, because he's got to pay him. I mean, you can't let your benefactor go out like that. There's no way. We have a question here, super chat question from Todd Fowler. Thank you for the donation, brother. Really do appreciate that. And it says, will we have any human versus human conflicts in season 8? Or will it be exclusively humans versus the others for 6 episodes? What do you think about that, Don Willie? Will we see some of this Game of Thrones stuff still being played out next season? Or are we just going to have a straight 6 episodes of White Walker battles?
I mean, it would be awesome to get 6 episodes full of nothing but war, you know, between humans and White Walkers. But, you know, if this past episode is any indication, I think we're going to have to deal with the introduction of the Golden Company, because I don't think they're going to be able to get to the Golden Company this season. I just don't think it would be possible. Even no matter how much you borrow this man's, you know, transporter, I don't think the Golden Company is getting here just yet. So I think maybe for like the first episode or 2, we're going to still have human conflict. And then maybe like the last 4 episodes will be nothing but White Walkers.
All right, Quinn, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Don. Like, it depends on how soon they bring in the Golden Company. If it comes this season, then maybe we will get 6 episodes of just the conflict between mankind and the White Walkers. But I don't think it's going to come this season. I think there's still going to be some stuff to deal with during the opening. And it also depends on when Cersei dies. If Cersei doesn't die this season, then they have to keep dealing with, you know, the man versus man conflict. Because I mean, like a theme that I've been seeing in Game of Thrones is like King of the Ashes, Queen of the Ashes. I firmly believe that Cersei would be Queen of the Ashes if she could be. Like, I think they'll tell her about the White Walker and she'll be like, whatever, I'm still queen, and she'll still want to fight because that's what she's always wanted. So yeah, it depends.
I gotta go with you on that too a little bit there. What are you thinking about that, Mojini? Are we gonna see all 6 episodes of White Walker versus human battle? We're gonna have some Game of Thrones throny stuff going on next year.
Next year, I think they have to give us the full-on White Walker Night King battle. This season is basically the setup for that. This season is like the shots of Bran inside the Raven, like spying on the Night King. They're not going to be doing those spy shots next season. Next season is going to be the battle. The full-on Jon Snow, whoever's Azor Ahai, whoever becomes the prince. That's all. They only have 7 episodes next year. They can't waste time like this.
I feel you. They don't have a lot of episodes. They can't waste time. It all, as Quinn said, it really depends on who dies next year, because a couple of people still have to die, I think. So it all depends who makes it out this year. And he says Cersei survives. I can't see her surviving the whole show. Listen, if George R.R. Martin was this writer that does not, you know, I go against cliches. I do against the grain. At the end of the series, Cersei Lannister will still be sitting on the Iron Throne. That would be something that no one would see coming. Because I think everyone thinks that she's going to die. Everyone. I don't think anyone thinks she's surviving. But if somehow, and bad people win a lot of things, she was still sitting on the Iron Throne when this was all said and done, I would love it too. Quinn, you would like that? That's what I heard you say, Quinn?
Yeah, I'd love it. It'd be so ironic. I'd just be like, yeah, that's so good. I'd love it.
I agree.
I mean, two of the most guaranteed things that we know of is Littlefinger dying this season and Cersei being killed by Jaime this season. Are we not all in agreement with that one?
I'm not in agreement about Jaime killing her at all.
That one. You know what? No, listen, man. The banner stays up. God damn it. Littlefinger will be king of the ashes before
Oh my
Straight up. It's fine. Let me say this real quick. There's someone in the chat I got to speak to. His name is Rich Shatwell. Rich Shatwell, please hit me up on Teflon TV and send me your address. I need your address. I would really appreciate that as soon as you get that so I can get that out to you this week. I appreciate that. That's my bag. I lost that, but please hit me again, Mr. Shatwell, and all that. No, listen. Littlefinger is in a precarious position. Now, the reason that people are giving for Littlefinger's death is that he doesn't have any part to play with the White Walkers. All right. There is going to be a world when the White Walkers are defeated. Right. I think people think, oh, because Varys, Littlefingers, they're not going to be able to send little birds over to investigate the White Walkers, that they're no longer needed. There will be a world when that is all said and done, and they can be part of that world. So who knows? I think he's going to die, Don Willie. It all sets up for him dying. But it's quite possible that he could pull it off. I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm saying it's quite possible that he could.
I mean, look, it's possible, but either way, the banner stays up until he goes down.
It all depends on Bran. It all depends on what Bran wants.
Teflon, you introduce our newest dude?
I did not. I'm not even there. In fact, I'm allowing you to. Do you want to introduce him, Mojini?
Okay, I got you. David's in the chat. Our guy, he was here last week, I think, or the week before.
He was. And his name is none other than LML, and he goes by the channel Lucifer Meets Lightbringer. So please let me give a welcome to LML. LML, thank you for joining us. You are a YouTube marathon. You're pulling a Jenna today, baby. You on it today. So I really do appreciate you having the time to come in and chill with me.
Thanks for having me on, Tony. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you on camera there, Quinn. Is that a boa you got?
What up, dude?
He's got a snake. That's a snake.
Yeah, he's got like a red tail boa or something.
No, this is a royal python, ball python.
Cool.
Woo! That's a royal python right there. That's that real shit right there.
We're gonna focus the camera on Quinn real quick so everyone can get a look at this snake real quick. All right, we'll put that on there.
Everyone's been commenting on it, so let's might as
well. That's a python. That's a python.
Take a look at that right there. All right, you see
her name. She's named after Nagini from Harry Potter.
Woo!
Voldemort snake.
That's my guy right there.
Let me just real quick, lucifermeanslightbringer.com. That's where you can find all my stuff. But let me just ask you this. We were just talking about the last season and, how many episodes are going to be devoted to the battle with the White Walkers. So let me just ask this question. Are the White Walkers going to be defeated by force, do you think? Or is there going to be some other thing that needs to be done besides simply killing them? And if so, what is that thing? Because that's the big mystery to me, both in the books and in the show.
No doubt. First, let me give a shout out to Aaron Habib for giving that donation, a super chat. Really do appreciate. There's no question there, but if you want a question to answer, please go answer. So let's go. Let's get into what Lucifer Meets Lightbringer. He's got to come here and stir the pot. Quinn, what do you think about that? So he said right there.
I don't think it's going to end with some, at least not in the books. I don't think it's going to end with some gigantic battle. I don't think that, because George R. Martin is so anti-war. I think that it has to be like we learn what the others are really attacking for and what really their deal is, and then there's some kind of treaty at the end, and then maybe I don't think it's going to be that huge climactic battle that like a lot of people are seeing. I don't. I think it'll be like both sides kind of understanding each other and understanding both sides, and then being like, okay, it's time to make a pact. And that's what I think they did before. And I think that the pact has been breached. And that's why the others are coming. I don't know what it was or how they breached it, but I think that is the reason that the others are coming again.
No, that's definitely a possibility that they did have a pact with them. It seems like that's how, I think when you deal with war, me personally, war is only a way to get to a political means, right? So no matter, you only go to war when you can't reach a political means, and you do war when you to get to a political means. That's basically what you're going after at the end of the war. You still want a political agreement. So I still think that there will be a political agreement at the end of it. Go ahead, whoever's commenting.
So I was just saying, there's a saying that says politics is war by other means. I think it might be Churchill. Somebody can correct me if that's right, but it's the same thing. Yes, it's one and the same.
Dude, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I'm a agree and piggyback with what Quinn said. I don't think there's gonna be like a super humongous battle like we're all thinking. I think it's gonna be Jon having to figure out the only way to kill the Night's King is the same way he was created. The way that children, I think there has to be something with the dragon glass can only kill him, because the way the children put it in his chest last season and used it like putting a grenade in his stomach, and then the grenade exploded and made him the White Walker. I think Jon's going to have to use something with dragon glass and can't finish him.
Are you saying that he pulled the Bruno Mars and he will hold the grenade for him? Is that what's going on there with the White Walkers? Don Willie, what kind of end are we seeing? Are we going to see a battle, or are we seeing a political maneuver, a pact of some kind? Maybe with the Night's Queen. Will Daenerys have to get turned to a White Walker and go off into the lands always winter with all of the White Walkers in the end? Is that what's going to happen? She sacrifices herself for the realm in the end?
Listen, I think Jon sacrifices himself in the end. I think, look, what was probably going to wind up happening is episode 5 is going to be the super big battle. At the end of it, it's going to be, Jon versus the Night King, last man standing. The Night King gets defeated by Jon, and then after that is when they have to make whatever kind of pact they're going to make, and we don't get to see what that is until episode 6, when it's the the final aftermath and everybody's doing whatever they do in order to cement the peace in Westeros.
So here's one thing that I'll add on to both of what you guys said. I always have my mind more on book symbolism and stuff. And in the chapter where Jon lets the wildlings through the wall into Westeros, the wildlings are described like the others in so many ways. They talk about the Ice River clans who don't break the snow when they walk on it. And George is doing a bunch of double entendres where and then the other ones came, and then the other ones came, and the other ones did this, and the others did that. And it's, I don't have the time to go into all of it, but basically I think George is creating a parallel between Jon having a pact with the wildlings and somebody like Jon or Bran or both needing to make a pact with the others. And I'm not totally sold on it, but there's enough evidence of it to suggest that. So it just makes me wonder, how does one make a pact with the others? And I've got a series called Sacred Order of Green Zombies in my podcast that talks a lot about cold hands and resurrected Jon and the whole idea of zombies in A Song of Ice and Fire and what's the point of all the zombies. And essentially the point is that to journey into the cold, dead lands, it really helps to be a zombie because you don't need to eat, you don't need to stay warm, you don't have to sleep. And that's why in the books, in the show, we have Benjen. In the books, we have cold hands, and it's the same idea. It's this undead person who's not a white in control of the others, and they just sort of range the north. And in the book, they help Sam and Gilly, Bran and Mira. But it's the same idea. Like, if you're a zombie, you're pretty much ideally suited to journey into the north. So it could be that Jon will have some sort of immunity to cold, in the books at least. I'm not sure about the show. And that'll enable him to be able to make a pact. Because how do you even face down the others, They're so
do you think that the Starks have a resistance to cold? Like we see the Targaryens seem, we know they're not fireproof like the show, but it still seems like they have a certain resistance, tolerance.
It's implied for the purposes of symbolism. Like Jon's destiny is to become resistant to cold, and the original King of Winter might have been that way. I don't think Ned is. But I think that it's implied in that scene just to get you thinking about Starks that can resist the cold, something like that.
No doubt.
Maybe they're like the Nords in Skyrim. They have like 10% resistance to cold or something like that.
They do, those goddamn Nords. They do. I really thought about Skyrim when I seen this dragon attacking this week. It really looked like a Skyrim video game. I don't know if they thought, especially when you see the fire going by and light. that really looked like Skyrim. It really did. I don't know if they played it and they say, let's make it look like this. I don't know, but it did.
A lot about Skyrim reminds me of A Song of Ice and Fire, like the Draugrs and their blue eyes. I'm just like, was somebody reading A Song of Ice and Fire? And when they came up with Skyrim,
it reminded me of the Hobbit movie too, when Bale the Bard killed Smaug the dragon, bro. When Smaug caught that joint, man, the way that Bronn was wielding the scorpion, didn't it look like the way Bale the Bard was about to kill Smaug?
I thought that was an intentional likeness.
Yeah, all right. So Reality Truth says that it looked better than Skyrim. Yes, we know it looks better than Skyrim. I mean, I'm not trying to say it looked like that. If Skyrim looked like that, I would still be playing, right?
Yeah, and it's not Bale the Bard is from A Song of Ice and Fire. The name of the bard in Lord of the Rings is not Bale. It's something similar. Can somebody in the chat help me out, please?
My bad. It's Bard from Watertown. It's Bard from Watertown.
Okay, there we go. Let's get that right. So since I ran in on here a little bit late, can I just say real quick, 10 out of 10 on this episode. It was the shit. The dragon battle was the shit. It was everything I hoped for. And it was only one dragon. I just thought it was awesome. My favorite moment was during the follow scene where Bronn's running around trying to find the fucking spear. There's a moment where the dragon just flies by overhead really quick. And it's startling. And that moment to me, I felt immersed. I felt like I was there and I was like, oh, dragon. To me, that was awesome. The other favorite moment was Jaime deciding to charge. I just thought it was epically heroic in that moment for him to do that. And it was I felt like the show was reaping the benefits of everything George Martin has done with gray characters. Everything he's done with making us care about people on both sides. We care about Dany. We care about Drogon. We also care about Jaime, and here they are charging at each other, and we don't know who to root for, and we're just sitting there watching it like, holy shit, what's going to happen? And
that's what happened with that whole battle, I think. A lot of it was, who do you root for?
Yeah, it was really successful, and that's the whole point of George creating gay characters. Well, he does that too. but shout out to Sir Loras, and also Brendan Blackfish.
Brendan Blackfish Tully, shout out to him. Shout out to Sir Loras. Shout out to everyone. And if people don't know who LML is, please can someone put his link in the description and in the chat so people can find this channel. I know we got someone who just said they subscribe to you, LML. He's very good at what he does. He's very deep. And besides all that knowledge and everything else that he likes to drop and all that stuff, he's a cool motherfucker, man. And when it all comes down, that means more than fucking anything. So support the good people in YouTube that really give a fuck about other people and care about the books. That's what it's really all about, man.
So just really quick, everything of mine is at one place. Lucifer means Lightbringer.com. It's super easy to remember. Patreon, YouTube, blog, podcast, all there. So that's all you got to remember. And then, yeah, please subscribe. That'd be nice.
No doubt. Now,
you want to do these questions, Teflon, or what?
Let's do a couple of questions. Then we're going to get into another LML topic. So, because I planned on that. I tell you, I had the plan. We were going to do this last week, but L couldn't make it. All right. So I know other people have picked up on my idea, but I wanted him to really explain into depth the pictures on the walls of the White Walkers and what he felt that they were. We will get into that with LML in a second. And we'll all discuss that situation. Let's take a couple of questions, Mojini, if we can, from the motherfucking chat.
And guys, we got 480 people watching. We only got 170 likes. Step that like game up, damn it. Smash that like button.
All right, listen, people, now, before we get into this next, let me say, we got 400 something, almost 500 bills. So it looks like we may hit 500 or something in a little bit. We got a couple of times going on there. So please hit the like button for a brother. You know what I mean? Help a brother out. Listen, support the people who support you. Listen, there's a lot of shit going on in the United States of America right now, right? So let's prove that we're all united by hitting that goddamn like button. And if you don't, that means we're not united.
Shameless.
Shameless. That was a good one, all right?
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. The likes is jumping up quite hefty. That's what I like to see.
Let's get that going. All right, Mojini.
All right. Let's go with a really easy question. This is a question that probably we need to go in depth on. It's real super simple. Let me just knock this one out. Do we think that Drogon was poisoned by the spear tipped by Qyburn, ladies and gentlemen?
Go right ahead on the horn with that.
No.
Next.
Okay, let's start. Don Willie.
No, sir. Not
Okay,
at all.
LML.
Nope.
Quinn.
I guess I'm next. Well, so no, I don't think so. I mean, I look, it depends. I mean, it also, I know he's not poisoned, but also I kind of want to talk about like the difference between like book dragons and show dragons. Cause you know, if you remember in the book,
The spear melts.
Yeah, the spears are like melting, like his blood is like molten or something. So
he's like a
like
flying volcano.
yeah, so you know, I don't think he's poisoned anyways, in any case.
Yeah, if that was the case, as we've seen, if the dragons were, I know I did a video on it and I just put it out there, didn't say I believed it or anything like that. Just put it out. That's what you do in videos. But you put it out there. I put questions out there. I ask you a question. But if we look at if they are fire, as he said, they're molten flame. We've seen what happened when poison tried to enter the body of Melisandre, right? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
The fire burned it away, right? Nothing.
Fire cleanses.
Right down, did nothing. So if it's not affecting little Melisandre, I'm going to say probably not affecting the big ass dragon. That's just me.
Hey, let me throw out something
Yeah.
for you, Tony, real quick.
Yes.
So Valyrian steel kills others, right?
Mm-hmm.
Valyrian steel is nearly black. It's smoke dark. It's forged in fire with spells and blood magic, and it kills the others. But then we have a sword that's just like Valyrian steel, except for that it's white. And it looks pale as milk glass. And that's the sword Dawn, of course, for those of you in the books. They didn't do much Dawn in the show, a little bit. But in the books, Dawn, pale as milk glass. Well, the others have bones that look pale as milk glass too. And Dawn looks like a big white sword. So some people think it was the original ice of House Stark because it literally looks like a sword made out of ice. So if black Valyrian steel can kill others, can a white sword named Dawn that looks like ice kill dragons?
Can it kill? I mean, we've seen dragons fall to regular steel, right? We've seen regular guys with regular steel weapons sneak up behind them, jump behind them, hit them with weapons and kill a dragon, slay dragons. So
spirit through the eye, yeah.
Yeah, but wait, did Hugh Hammer? Did he kill a dragon, Hugh Hammer?
No.
A lot of the Targaryen dragons were easily killed. It wasn't like some crazy ish that killed them. A lot of them were easily killed, slayed by men.
If you catch them, like they caught him in the dragon pit. It tried to fly away. It hit the ceiling. It came back down. The ceiling landed on top of him. You have to get them on the ground. That's the number one. First, you got to ground these bastards. You know, you got to get them on the ground.
Well, so their bones are like steel. So you have to get it through the eye hole, or you have to get its throat or something like that. Pretty much all of them that we know of were killed. It's all through the eye.
Usually. Now, we've seen giants killed in the books specifically by human beings, and kind of seen it in the show in The Last Stand of the Night's Watch with Gren, and you see him, scream, and that's it. Do you think the fact that we've seen a giant kill, are we going to see a human being take out a dragon?
First off, I totally agree with you guys. Do not think that Qyburn poisoned the arrow, the spear. That would be D&D be too smart for their own good. That would be them being too smart for their own good if they poisoned the spear. And then so to that answer, I think a giant will get slayed by one of them. I don't think it's that difficult. They already showed us 3 white giants that are with the Night's King. Those are definitely going to get killed by a human, correct?
No, I'm saying, well, since we've seen a giant slain by human beings, will we see a dragon slain by human beings?
Oh, I think so. I think so. What do you guys think?
I know. LML, your newest guy, if you're still there.
I think it would be, yeah, you gotta have one dragon slayer at least, right?
I think so. I think they have to have something like that. Quinn, you think we're gonna have a dragon slayer?
I don't know if it'll be a human to kill a dragon. I think if somebody kills a dragon, it'll be the White Walkers or something.
All right. What about you, Don Willie? Are we going to see Dragon Slayer, maybe Jaime Lannister?
I do think we are going to see a Dragon Slayer. Look, I'm thinking it's going to be one by White Walker, one by Dragon. I mean, one by human, and Dany gets to actually keep Drogon. I mean, look, it's my theory that Dany at the end of it is going to actually be offered the Seven Kingdoms, and she's going to look around and be like, you know what? This is not exactly what I wanted. You know, I thought it was going to be a little more pretty than this. It's kind of fucked up. Drogon, we out, and she's going to fly across the Sunset Sea.
No, that quite possibly. If there was going to be a Dragon Slayer, people in the chat, please ask me, who do you think is going to kill a dragon?
That's a good question. And let me give a shout out to your theory, Tony. I really like the idea of the giant with the bow and arrow. Like, I don't know if it'll happen, but I just really like the idea. I hope it happens.
Well, thank you. I don't know what's going to happen either, but it seems like if you're going to bring a scorpion out and you got a giant walking around. They're giving us the
ingredients. I'm always a fan of theories that like work with the ingredients they give us. So they're giving us a giant that can shoot a scorpion bolt out of a bow and arrow. So fucking why not, you know?
No doubt about it. Let's see. We got a couple of people here that's saying a couple of things. We got someone, Bionic Flux says Sam will kill a dragon. Someone says Bran will do it from the castle. We have another Sam. Correct says Sam. Violent Messiah says Ghost. Another person, Autumn, says that's going to be Sam. So what? Horace says Sam. T-Baby says Dickon. No, I'm just playing. T-Baby says a white giant. The Night's King, we got one for that. We got the Savage Sam. We have a lot of Sams going around here. So let me ask y'all this. This is not in the show, but this is definitely in the books. But, who knows? Because we know, I heard that Jaqen H'ghar is casted for this season. We haven't seen him yet. I don't know if he really is or not, but I heard he was. Is it possible, from the book perspective, not even the show, that Sam is going to kill a faceless man? Is that what we're setting up for that right there? Is that what's going to happen?
Most definitely. That's written in stone already for Sam's plot in the books. He's going to be the one to discover him. He's going to be the one to slay him and add him to his slay list.
All right. We got Don Willies. I see you nodding your head. You think, is that what you're thinking, that Sam is going to kill a faceless man?
If we're talking about the books, most definitely, I think that what's going to happen is Sorella or Aurelius the Sphinx, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be in the Citadel. She's going to wind up following the faceless man. And it's like, yo, Sam, come along. Something's odd about Pate. They're going to wind up getting into some type of scuffle. Sam is going to wind up, jigging a dude all to death, and then the next thing you know, he dies. Whatever Pate's face is gonna fall off, and then they're gonna wind up seeing Jaqen H'ghar or the face that he had before it.
It could go down like that, or it could be a situation where he doesn't know how to play with Rosie's toes properly. What do you think, LML? Do you think that Sam is going to kill a White Walker? I mean, a faceless man in the books? Are we setting up this?
Well, I'll be right back.
All right, sir.
I hadn't heard of that idea, Don. That's oh man, that was out. Don, I hadn't heard of that before. That was a pretty cool idea. Just want to say that. It's a good example of like how many little strange corners of action that we're all waiting to find out what's going to happen. Like there's the big parts of the story that we're waiting for, in the Winds of Winter, but there's all these little scenes too that like what's going to happen with Jaime and Brienne in Stoneheart's cave. Like we left off with Jaime being led into Stoneheart's cave with Brienne like 5 years ago. We've got no fucking idea what's happening in that cave. We've got no idea what's happening with this faceless man in Old Town that stole a face and he's hanging out with Sam. It's just really cool. I haven't really thought about the Sam and Old Town and the faceless men. I've just mostly thought about the faceless men trying to steal whatever that was, the book about dragons, so they can kill a dragon or something like that. That's about all I've thought about.
No doubt. Quinn, what are you thinking? Do you think that Sam's going to take a faceless man out? Is it Slayer or what? Slaying everything?
Okay, so I hadn't thought about this either, but as far as Sam killing a faceless man, I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't see that happening. And then also, like, I'm not even 100% sure what the faceless man is doing in Old Town, other than like stealing the key and like looking for some information possibly. And then there's the hint that Makoro gives at the end where he says, "Who do you think killed the dragons last time?" So, you know, you think it might have something to do with killing dragons, but really we have no idea what it has to do with. It could be anything. Why? Like, we don't even know if Sam will be put in the situation to want to kill him. What if he's not even? I don't know.
Yeah,
So much could happen.
It would take a lot. He would have to be made aware that he was this, or there'd be a situation that if Sam is able to kill Jack and Hagar, this would be a problem for me. But it's quite possible that it could go down like that. We have a super chat donation from Common Sense TV. Thank you very much. And he has a question that says, "Can Bran see the future?" Keep killing the game, Tony. LML, glad to see you on here. And everybody else, thanks for sharing. So, can Bran see the future? We'll ask you, LML. Go right ahead.
So, in book canon, the weirwood net allows you to see most everything in the past. It allows you to see certain things in the present. As far as glimpses of the future, those seem to come in dreams mostly. And those are kind of like any other getting glimpses of the future. They're foggy, kind of vague. That seems to be the case. Maybe Quinn can clarify, but I think that's pretty much what it is. So in the books, it's a little confusing. Like they sort of imply that Bran just like knows when Arya is at the top of the ridge. That's not really book canon. So it seems like in the show, Bran's just like super psychic, but in the book canon, his glimpses of the future are limited.
That quick?
Okay, so I'll tell is that Bran's, well, at least Bloodraven's view of, because I don't know, like Bran hasn't reached that level that Bloodraven is at in the books yet, and I think he'll even go beyond where Bloodraven is. I think the way it is that time to Bloodraven is more like how time is to the tree. It's like past, present, future, all in one. Because he says to Bran that men go through time in a linear fashion, but trees, it's all the same to them. Like the weirwood will sit there for forever if it's undisturbed, and it has, and like time means nothing to the weirwood. It's all happening at the same time, and that kind of goes to what Littlefinger said in, I forget when the episode where Bran comes back, which made me like kind of question some things. He said you have to look at everything as if it's all happening at once. That way you can never be surprised by anything. But as far as Bran seeing the future in the book.
Hey Quinn, I have that quote that you're talking about, if you'd like to.
Go ahead, read it out.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, and now my page is, okay, it's right here. Let's see. It's about time being a river. And it's one of my favorite quotes in the book, for sure. It says, "For men, time is a river. We are trapped in its flow, hurtling from past to present, always in the same direction. The lives of trees are different. They root and grow and die in one place, and that river does not move them. The oak is the acorn is the oak. And the weirwood, 1,000 human years are a moment to a weirwood, and through such gates you and I may gaze into the past." Carry on.
So yeah, and that kind of brings me to Leto the Second from Dune. That's how he sees time. He says that I view time in such a way that like just like these little bits of time that people see is like nothing. It's like nothing. You could not possibly understand what Leto's plan is because he's looking so far into the future and seeing so far into the past, and he has all this context that everybody else just does not get. And I think that is the situation that Bran is in right now. He has so much context that like nothing that he says could ever possibly make sense to like Sansa or Arya. So that's why he's like all cryptic and stuff to me. So yeah.
No doubt. Don Willie?
I don't think that Bran can actually like really clearly see the future. I mean, like LML said, you know, things are kind of hazy. I mean, because you know, look what happened with Melisandre with all of her visions. It's really kind of hazy. And truthfully speaking, even if Bran could see the future, I think the fact that it is the future, he possibly wouldn't be able to understand it. So it's like even if he sees something, it'd be like, I don't know what this is because he hasn't experienced it before. And so he might think it's something from the past when it's actually something from the future.
No doubt, no doubt. We are now joined by the one, the only Hypes Watch, our founding member, the ladies' man, the man chilling in the desert, down in Dawn, the one, the only, Sir LT Styles.
What's up, everybody? Happy Game of Thrones Day. And I'm just happy to be here. You know, my opinion is the future's not written in stone. You know, your destiny's not written. I don't want to see the future. Like, if I could time travel, I'd want to see the past. I mean, just imagine if you go to the future, like in our world, and you just see some crazy shit that you couldn't even grasp, like, you know, like aliens and just flying cars. I mean, I'm not ready for that stuff. So I'd rather see the past. I wouldn't want to see the future.
Good call. Good call.
No doubt. If I had a chance to see anything, I'm going back in the day with a couple of Uzis, and I'm robbing the stagecoach. Listen, I'm getting paid. If I had a chance to go back,
wait, Tony, if you want to get paid, just get the Sports Almanac like in Back to the Future, and you'll be like rich forever.
There's no doubt that would be the easiest way to go about it. But I got to have some fury. I got to go back with some AK-47s to the Egypt and hit them up, and that's it. Go ahead, LL.
We got a super chat here from Tyrion.
Perfect.
Dune motherfuckers, thank you. And so I just wanted to show Quinn my Dune shirt that I'm wearing here.
Oh, it's the sandworm and the moon.
Sandworm
Awesome.
and the second moon and shit. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that's
No
bad.
doubt. Everyone, a lot of people who like Dune. I am not a Dune expert, so unfortunately, I cannot comment too much on it. But Quinn, LML, they are. So definitely check
Read
them
every
out
single book.
if you want to get into Dune, and even if you want him to have a Dune series, let him know. And maybe he'd be willing to do something like that for you and set up some Dune things going on there. Yeah, I can't do anything but Game of Thrones or I lose subscribers right now. So
LML, Quinn, and Jerry need to make a damn video on it. I'm not into Dune either, but if you guys promise to make a video, I'll check it out.
I watch a lot. Like I'll tell you, I watched a lot of The Walking Dead and people's videos and not watch the show. So it does happen and stuff like that. I do watch the show here and there, back into it, but I was watching people's videos more than I was watching the show for a long time on that. So we have a lot of things that are about to jump off this episode. It seems like. So let's talk a little bit because Mo, you back?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have questions? And then I want your opinion on that real quick before we go into the next question.
What was the question?
I don't know. I'm drinking. No, what was the question? The question
Can
was,
Bran see the future?
Can Bran see the future?
He's got to. If what he did with Hodor is the best of our abilities, the knowledge that we have on what Bran's abilities can, the capabilities and how far they can go, he went back in time and freaked Hodor's mind to do the future business. Am I right?
He did.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing about Bran seeing the future? The short answer to can Bran see the future is yes. But right now, I think it's more limited than it will be like in the future. Because if I one more Dune thing, like Paul Atreides starts off and all of his visions of the future come from his dreams. It's very like broken up. And then once he like really develops his power, he can see like the flows and ebbs of time. And he knows that it's like but it's nothing's certain, but he can see the most likely way it'll go. And I don't know how George R. Martin is going to do it exactly, but I think he takes a lot of influence from Dune. Actually, in the way.
So yeah, Quinn is 100% right. There's a call out to this. Bloodraven tells Bran like the actual heart tree face is the first eyes that a green seer will see through. But in time, the green seer can see everywhere without needing a heart tree face to look through at all. So there's, just like Quinn said, there's a gradual progression and an expansion of the ability.
Are you guys familiar with like these time traveling myths where the farther back you go in the past, you can go so far back, you go to the future? Like if Superman goes around Earth as fast as possible backwards, he can get there to the future. If Bran goes so far back in the past with everything he can see in the past, he could probably catch up to the future.
It's quite. I mean, if you're doing the Superman situation, and he did that just for Lois. I mean, I don't understand what he was doing for Lois. I don't know. I wouldn't have went through those means for her. But that's a different situation. That's a whole different.
I think it depends on how you view time. If you think that time is like circular and repeating, like some people think, then.
I mean, we could. I need Nico Lena to really look at this situation and talk about how people you view time as a flat piece of paper or like a wormhole situation where it is a paper, but you can bend it. And if you bend it up, that there's a wormhole in the middle that you could go back and forth into time. Is that possible? I mean, it all depends how you really look at it. Go ahead, Al.
There's a quote, Feast for Crows, describing the arms of House Toland, which is essentially an Ouroboros, a snake, dragon eating its own tail, or a snake eating its own tail. The quote is, "The dragon is time. It has no beginning and no ending, so all things come round again."
That's the Wheel of Time. That's a Wheel of Time reference.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, like George R. R. Martin loves to reference like other works of fiction and stuff like that. See, in the Wheel of Time, it's more like.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
It's more like things keep repeating themselves over and over again. It's not. It's like they're not like the same kind of souls keep coming back, and they keep kind of doing the same things over and over again. And that's kind of what is happening in A Song of Ice and Fire, if you really, depending on how you want to look at it.
It's like more explicit and literal in the Wheel of Time, and it's a little more subtle in A Song of Ice and Fire. But the whole idea of Azor Ahai Reborn, or of Tyrion like mimicking Lan the Clever, or Dany being Nissa Nissa, like that's the same idea. Like. In Wheel of Time, it's an actual reincarnated soul. It would be as if Jon Snow has like the soul of Azor Ahai from 8,000 years ago riding shotgun in his brain. That's not quite happening, but he's recreating some of the same actions and carrying on the same magical legacy or some crap like that. So it's still there.
No, I see it as is that Aziz in the chat right now? Is that the Aziz, or is that someone pretending to be Aziz?
It says Aziz Al-Dulri.
I'd never seen him come under his own name before.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Is that him, or is that somebody else? What up, Aziz?
It's either that or he's famous enough to have impersonators, which is kind of cool.
Listen, a lot of us are. but what up to my man Aziz? You know what I mean? History of Westeros, the true OGs of this game. Definitely check them out. I'm sure you have already checked them out. But if you're really looking for people who are, as I always say, I come back to it, good people, check him out, man. That means more to me than anything about anything else. Is definitely that. Mojini, we got a question out there. What?
Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. We got 483 in the chat. We got about 300 plus likes. Hit that like button, people. All right, let's go to the questions. Got a lot of great questions from you guys. Cheeky is the heart wants to know, did Jon bend the knee in the cave, or do you guys think Jon will bend the knee this season?
I'll go first. No, he did not bend the knee. They're not going to show that off camera. They'll show stupid, meaningless deaths like Brandon Blackfish off death, but they're not. If that was going to happen, they're going to show it. And he's not going to bend the knee. She needs to bend the knee to her. I mean, I'm sorry. Danny needs to bend the knee to him. So no, he's not going to bend the knee.
Isn't it like super obvious? Isn't it like super obvious what they're doing?
So what do you say? What do you think there, Quinn? What do you think? He bend the knee?
I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing. Like Danny and Jon are gonna get married in the end, and then they're gonna be like, we're gonna fight the White Walkers together. Because they're already setting up the romance. I mean, it's so obvious. Like when she's holding the torch and he grabs her arm and he's like, no, like this. Look over. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, they'll commit suicide together probably.
It made me think of like the booty call scene, the movie Booty Call, when they try and teach him how to play pool, and you know how I know y'all dudes done did that maneuver. If you didn't, it works very well. Let me tell you, take a girl who don't know how to play pool and she bends her ass over the table and just come right behind, no baby. This is how you hold that.
Yeah,
do it. It works every time.
Last week when they're about to go in the cave and the Dothraki was like trying to stop her or something, and she's like, "It's okay." You can see the look in her eyes right there.
Oh, that's so any chicks out there. I'm single that want to learn how to play pool. You know, come see me. Go ahead, Mo.
I don't think he bent the knee in the cave. Definitely not. But I do believe they are setting up the plot for Jon bending the knee when he proposes marriage to her. I think that's very, 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 very obvious. And they're trying to reel that fish in real hard right now.
And then he's gonna bend the knee and give her the Lord's kiss and get some more fish. Oh,
Yeah.
That's his auntie. That's gross.
I mean, listen, you don't know what your auntie. If you don't know, you don't know. You just do what you do. And I got Amish people up here that'll tell you different. Don Willie, what are you thinking?
Yeah, listen, you know, it's obvious that he will bend the knee at some point, but it's not gonna, you know, not gonna be all screen like that. And you know what? It might be Tyrion who kind of brings up this idea. You know, because remember, he's the one that told Dany to leave Dario Naharis behind because she's going to have to make a marriage alliance, you know, so she might not be thinking about that right now. Jon probably isn't thinking about it right now. So it'll probably be Tyrion. It's like, hey, look, you want to get this whole alliance popping. Here's the reason why you should be bending the knee. Put a ring on it.
Yep, definitely. If I could go down with that, we all answered this question. Anyone else has to answer this question right here? Are we on to the next?
I don't think LML said anything.
Yeah, listen, I'm sure all y'all have a game on a woman before. If you haven't, trust me, it works every time. It works every time. I'm sure everyone else has done it. You could do it with darts too. Darts, you could just get behind them and grab and show them how to toss them.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it in the pool hall. I used to do it in the pool hall all the time.
Oh yeah, it works all the time. That's an easy way to get it. That's an easy way to get it. No doubt about it.
Pool hall swag.
So let me just say this: it's the one thing we know is that romance aside, which I do think there are setting up the romance, it makes political sense for them to get married. So it's probably going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You think so? You think that they will be married, not this fucking. All right. A lot of people fucking in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Physically in front of a weirwood tree, or however they do it in Targaryen land, they will be married before that it's done. That they're both Jon and Dany married.
I don't see enough time for it. And then what, you know, yeah, I don't see enough time for it, but hey, who knows?
You live in Vegas, LT. There's always time for marriage.
What are they gonna do? They're gonna go through a drive-through or Westeros wedding and get married like that.
That'd be Elvis.
It'll be like Rob and Talisa's wedding. How it's just like the quick little scene, and then that's it. They're married, and then move on.
Somebody needs to tell Jon no romance without finance.
Listen, we're gonna find out that, you know, secretly Varys is also accepting it.
We haven't had one wedding that's ended in a good way on this show. It'd be great to see a wedding end normally.
That ain't gonna end good. That ain't gonna end good. I mean, the Dothraki wedding, the Dany wedding was ended pretty well. I mean, a couple of people died, but you know.
No, she got raped. She got raped at the end on her wedding night.
I don't know. Was that a rape? Not in the books. It wasn't a rape.
Rape in the show. It's debatable in the books, but definitely a rape in the show.
In the show, it was a rape because she's crying when she's getting it doggy style. No one wants
Sansa. Then Sansa gets raped. So this is like a thing, like a going on thing on the show. You know what I mean?
Tyrion's marriage. There was no rape in Tyrion and Sansa marriage.
Right, and also Rob didn't rape Talisa, so
and
he couldn't last. He couldn't last with Talisa. Talisa put it on him.
They didn't have a wedding night though. They didn't have Rob and Talisa never had a wedding night on the show though.
She was shaking his ass to him after he did the job. And he's over there trying to figure out strategy while this chick is shaking her ass at him butt naked. I don't know what type of wolf he is. It's not the type of wolf I am.
Yeah.
And Tommen and Marjorie's wedding didn't end bad. Sorry.
One of the chat mods, Cheryl, suggests the Isle of Faces. And this is my favorite romantic theory, is that Jon and Dany fly via Dragonback to the Isle of Faces and get married before the gods, with only the gods as witness.
All right, let me ask y'all this question real quick. We'll go with it. Did you think that there will be a dual dragon back ride between Dany and Jon? You think that they're going to be on the dragon together? LML, because you answered already. Let me go start with you right there.
Yep. That's what I think we'll see in the books and the show probably.
What about Quinn? What are you thinking, Quinn?
Now that you say that, I can totally see it. Yeah.
LT?
Yeah, basically what's gonna happen is John's gonna take her on the dragon in that song "Only You," like on the movie Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen. Is gonna be.
What do you think is Don Willie? What do you think? Are you gonna see a dragon back, bareback dragon back? Jon Snow hanging out there with Daenerys?
Yeah, man. You know, hashtag fan service.
Mojini, does he like it raw? Are we gonna see Jon Snow and Danny on the bag of dragon together?
I think that's too much fan service, but I do think that she will flip it on him to get her to trust him. To get him to trust her, she'll let him ride one of her dragons. She'll let him ride Viserion or Rhaegal.
Nah, you think that she's just gonna let him ride like Dr. Dre? Let me ride? Hell yeah! It's gonna happen. It's going down like that.
So one way to make the Jon and Danny thing a little bit less like barf-tastic, like what if they join together essentially to go and commit heroic suicide together to try to save the day? Like they're married, but then they're basically going to die to fight the Night's King. So, you know, it'll be, if George does put them together, it's going to be bittersweet like that. You know, it's not just going to be like, and they live forever in a castle. I mean, obviously not that.
Yeah, that's why I think if Cersei Lannister has the Iron Throne when it's all said and done, it'll be perfect. They can do all that shit. They can defeat the White Walkers. They kill everybody, and Cersei still holds it down. That would be great ending, the best ending possible for me. And now that I'm thinking about it, that would be something that everyone would be bad. Everyone would hate him, but he's old anyway, so he doesn't care. But everyone would hate him after that. And you know, when you're old, not saying he's gonna. When you're old, you don't give a fuck. You learn, the older you get, the more these old people don't have the filter. They'll tell you whatever they want to tell you. This is what happens. They don't care anymore at this particular time. So that would definitely be a way for that to jump off. I wish it would jump off like that. I really do it. Go ahead,
That's
Quinn.
the story that Martin's telling. Like, who's to say that Cersei wouldn't be a good queen? What if Cersei's like the greatest queen ever? Just because she's a huge bitch doesn't mean that she would not be a good queen. I mean, look at what she's done a lot so far. If you look at the show, like, I mean, she's pretty much kicking ass for the most part. I mean, she kind of took a big L with the dragon, but you know, other than that, you know, she's been doing her thing. She's conquered all of her enemies.
I agree 100%. She has. And if you say that she's a female Tywin Lannister would have made a good king. You know, if you fell in line, it would have been all right. There would have been no doubt about it. But I want to get into right now real quick, if we can, a little bit about the paintings that we've seen on the wall. Now, we've seen some carvings on the wall. I know a lot of it may have passed over a lot of people's minds and said, oh, they're just showing the White Walker with a beard. But it seems like there is a little bit more to it. And I'm not an expert on this, but I do have someone that's an expert on the panel right now. So, LML, will you please explain to these people your opinion of the drawings that we see on the wall in Dragonstone?
All right. So I'll try to be quick. I don't know. Well, let me just say that I did one with History of Westeros earlier today, and we went into a lot of detail. We used a lot of pictures. We took the time to get the pictures lined up and compare images and stuff. So,
oh, wait a second. Now he's saying that we're low budget on Teflon TV. We're low budget on Teflon TV. We don't have the pictures, so we can't do it that proper. But still,
I got some of the pictures with me, so I got some visual aids. So in the cave, we saw something that looked like this kind of. It's a double circle with sun rays on the outside. And there was a lot of circle within a circle patterns in the cave. There were two in particular that had sun rays on the outside. And what I think this is this is a picture of an eclipse, the sun and the moon. And so there's a legend that's in both the first season of the books and the first book of the first season of the show and the first book of the series. And it's about dragons coming from the moon. And the legend goes basically that there was once two moons in the sky. And one day, one moon wandered too close to the sun and cracked from the heat, and 1,000 dragons poured forth. And that's where dragons come from, and that's why they breathe fire. Now, obviously, dragons don't come from moons, but meteors do come from moons if they crack anyways. if there's some sort of celestial impact event, let's say. So I think that's what this myth is talking about. When it says that a moon wandered too close to the sun, that is describing an eclipse. When that's what that would look like. When the moon gets close to the sun, that's an eclipse. And then something happened to the moon and the dragons poured forth. So the dragons that poured forth were meteors, and these meteors were the cause of the long night, which means that this sun and moon alignment in the sky that looks like a big eyeball is super important, because it's like the sign of doom, if you will. And I find that that symbol is reflected in the Isle of Faces and the God's Eye Lake, where the lake itself would be like the sun, and the Isle of Faces would be like the pupil, would be like the moon. Okay. And so what essentially is happening is that this sun and moon thing in the sky is like a celestial God's eye, and the lake and the Isle of Faces is like a terrestrial version of the same thing. And so this symbol that they're drawing all through the caves, this double circle with the sun rays, it's a symbol of the sun and the moon, and it has something to do with the cause of the long night, and it looks like an eye. That's kind of like the short version of it. And I think it's important, if I could just tag one more thing, the fact that we saw Sam looking at all those eclipses and at the Citadel kind of gives you a clue that like eclipses might be important, because all the pages he was pouring through were important. They were about Lightbringer, they were about the others, they were about Dragonglass, and then we have this page full of eclipses. And so this might be the answer, is that the cause of the long night has something to do with like a celestial eclipse alignment. And I think that is what a lot of the symbols that they were drawing in the caves are. And that is, again, what my logo is a model of. It's the moon. The black circle is the moon, and then there's the sun behind it, and that's the God's eye. So there you go.
No doubt about it. And I think that no one can explain it as well as you do. And if you're really interested in it, and you should be if you're a Song of Ice and Fire fan, if you want a Cliff Notes version, you can go to Aziz's channel, History of Westeros. They just did a nice video on it. But if you want the full version of it, you have to go to LML, LuciferMeetsLightbringer.com. Hit them. Is it .com? Is that what it is?
Yeah, LuciferMeansLightbringer.com. That's it.
Hit that up, and he has podcasts about this whole situation. It's his sigil, so he knows all about this, and he could definitely explain to you all about that. Now, you see what happens when Lucifer meets Lightbringer. He goes into the cave. He sees all this. Most of y'all people like me, we talk about cave sex. That was Danny gonna put the dick to her while he was in the cave? I mean, you know how he gets down in caves. We've seen him get down in caves before, but that's what I was thinking when it was going down there right now. We will go back to the questions. Mo Genie, do we have some Mo?
Yes, we do. We got all your questions. Do not worry. If you posted one in the chat, we will get to them as fast as we can. You don't have to post it a million times. Mo Genie's got you.
Oh, okay. And also, I need to give a shout out to Quinn, too. So earlier in the week, before I put all those images together, we did a podcast where we talked about the same sort of stuff. And that led to discussion of like, I don't know, like everything that's important to the story. We talked about the others. We talked about the Children of the Forest. We talked about Azor Ahai and the origin of the Long Night for like 2 hours. So if you're curious to hear me and Quinn geek out about all that shit, then go over to Ideas of Ice and Fire and check out that video.
Listen, I'm sorry. If I knew about that, I would have shouted out. But please check out Ideas of Ice and Fire, LML thing, jump. And I'm going to be on Ideas of Ice and Fire too, goddammit. I've been invited on there. One of these days, you'll see me soon enough. I won't tell you exact day, but I'll be on that. Mo Genie, let him know.
All right, we got one here from Zim Solomon. They want to know, is there a spy/mole in Danny's camp?
Let's go do it.
Who do we start with? Do we want to start with the Don up top?
Go ahead, do it. Set it up, whoever it is.
Don Willie, what do you think? Do you think there's a spy?
I don't think there's a spy, only because, you know, for one, it seems like Varys has basically lost everything as far as little birds are concerned. I'm not even sure what his purpose is at this point, other than every now and then he gives Danny some bad news. Tyrion obviously ain't doing anything. Grey Worm is with the Unsullied. You got Missandei, who's never going to betray Daenerys. So I mean, like, and those are the only named characters that we have, and Melisandre left. So, you know, I don't see anybody being the spy. You know, I just think that they're right now they're writing Euron Greyjoy as being, you know, nearly invincible. And yeah, I mean, you know, Euron Greyjoy, I'm wondering if they're going to give him some other special properties on the show that we haven't seen yet, because he's the one that's doing all the damn damage right now. And it's hard to see, like, you know, why it is that he's been able to do all this unless we find out that there's more to him other than being, you know, someone who can just troll the shit out of Jaime very effectively.
Okay, LML, do you think there's a spy?
Yes. I don't know who it is, but it seems like a compelling storyline. And, you know, at this beginning of the season, they had to find all these different ways to make Dany's conquering of Westeros not just a walk in the park. And so this kind of thing is likely to happen. I don't know who it is. It's definitely not Missandei.
Okay, Quinn.
Okay, so I have a little bit to say. Okay, so in season 2 or 3, Ygritte, I think, or Ygritte says to Jon Snow, she says to him, "Don't ever betray me, Jon Snow." And he totally betrays her. And I remember when season 4 came out, there's a deleted scene where Daenerys and Missandei are standing on top of a pyramid. And Daenerys looks over at Missandei. And in that exact same way, she says, "Don't ever betray me." And like, I did a theory a long time ago where I was like, okay, so maybe because of this, Missandei will betray Daenerys, and they were setting that up, but they thought it would be too obvious, so they took it out. But then the most recent season, like that little speech Missandei gives pretty much convinced me that she is like fully for Daenerys, that she's not going to betray Daenerys. And as far as Varys being the spy, I don't think it's Varys, because I feel like Varys understands that Daenerys really is kind of the best hope for saving the realm. And Varys is totally a man for the realm. He said it from the very beginning. He's always said it. You High Lords play your Game of Thrones while the rest of us suffer underneath you. He's totally a man for the people. And I think Daenerys ultimately is a woman for the people, so he's on her side. Now, but then who could the spy be? I think there is one, but I don't think it's Varys or Missandei or Tyrion. But then who could it be? Who could it be? I don't know. So that's
Okay.
what I have to say. I think there could be.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, LT.
Before I answer my question, JB wants to know what time should he join, because he put it in the chat and he was getting a response.
Say it again. Say it. Who said that?
JBTV, Big Game James. He wants to know what time he's supposed to join.
Bring his ass. Tell him bring his ass right now. I ain't speak to him in a long time.
All right. No doubt, baby. No, all right. No, so no, I'm right there with Quinn. I was going to talk about that scene, but you know who could be the spy? And you guys might laugh at me and say, "LT, where'd this come from?" And I don't even know if he's like contracted to be on the show. Who knows? Maybe you guys could clarify it. But what if somehow Dario is in, you know, talking to them with ravens from where he's at, and maybe he's snitching her out or something? I don't know. You know, that's the only one I could think, because you guys just mentioned Varys. He's for her. Missandei, she looks like, you know, everybody's down with her. So I mean, it could be Dario. I mean, I know I'm reaching here, but I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out here and tell me if he's contracted to be on this season.
Okay, Teflon, you, and then I'll answer after you.
All right, so when you look at the traitor in the camp, is it really a traitor in the camp, or is just that Tyrion just isn't as smart as he thought he was? A lot of times we hear him sitting there with Cersei, and Cersei says, "You're not that clever," and then he goes, "I'm still more clever than you." Well, obviously you're not when it comes down to this, and we see specific people in Dany's camp that know things, and the fact that she lost Jeor Mormont, that was her military guy. She lost him and she let Dario stay. Now, Unsullied Truth, yes, they do a lot of battles and stuff, but usually they get told what to do. And they've never fought a war, I think, the Unsullied on a front like this where you're trying to take over a country. So I don't know how much they would know about that. I don't know if there is a spy more than that is just poor planning. And she just didn't have the right people in the right position. She thought she did, but these people just shit the bed. and nevertheless.
Okay, fair enough. Well, first off, we all know that Dany will get betrayed at some point during this story. That's facts. We know she will get betrayed. The Woods Witch or whatever, the lady, the Green Seer, whatever her name was, I forgot the name, told Dany there would be a betrayal, no matter what. Yeah, House of the Undying prophecy, she will get betrayed. We just don't know when she'll get betrayed. So there's a couple of funny things. Tyrion goes from being one of the smartest people in the show to being one of the dumbest in a few episodes. This is a guy who saved himself from falling through the moon door. All right, this dude was Dunzo in the Vale, saved himself. This guy thought about getting wildfire when Stannis was on the Blackwater Bay and was about to own King's Landing.
Actually, Cersei's idea.
Cersei's idea, but Tyrion carried it out.
He did.
Right? This guy is one of the smartest people for 5 seasons. And now you're telling me within a matter of a few episodes, this guy makes a mistake with Casterly Rock and makes a mistake with the Euron situation.
I agree with Moji 100%. I mean, the biggest, glaringly most obvious mistake was not going for the food first. I mean, what the hell? That's her biggest problem, is feeding her army. The first thing she should have done is gone to Highgarden. Instead, they sailed right past Highgarden, or not sailed. How did they get the Unsullied to Casterly Rock?
They sailed.
Right, ship.
Right, so
I don't know, but hold on. Let me finish this, right? Let me finish my thought, right? So then this guy goes to become one of the dumbest people in a few episodes, right? So then Olenna Tyrell and Dany have that conversation where Olenna is like, don't trust clever men or whatever the hell she said, right? How do you think I lasted this long? I didn't listen to clever men. That's the advice Olenna tells Dany, right? And then you see Jon asking Miss Sunday, do you really trust Dany? Do you really follow her because you love her, or do you follow her because she freed you from being a slave? And Miss Sunday says, I follow her because I love her. I really think Miss Sunday is the backstabber in this cult, dog. There's too many funny situations going on.
But Mo, could I ask you what's her alternative? Like, what's she gonna gain by betraying Dany? Like, okay, here's the scenario I can see her betraying Dany. Like, we know Grey Worm's at Castle Rock, and it pretty much looks like he's fucked. So maybe Grey Worm dies, and then she's like, you could have saved him or something. And then Dany's pissed off. I mean, she's pissed off at Dany. Then I could see that. But like now, why now?
I don't know, but Miss Sunday seems to be the most loyal in the Dany camp. Wouldn't that be GRRM's way to make the most loyal the flipper in the gang?
She's just too damn good looking for me to look at her like that. When I see her, she's too hot for me to look at like that.
Yeah, I need a good motive too. Good motive too, I'm sorry.
Maybe the motive hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's slowly happening.
It would have to be Grey Worm. It would have to be something that Dany did something that cost Grey Worm his life, and she would have to blame that from what we're seeing in the show purposes.
But then, like the traitor stuff comes from like people think that someone's already betraying Daenerys. Like who it all? Like I don't think Missandei is betraying Daenerys right now.
She's got 3. There's no doubt 3 treasons she will know. So we know it definitely it's gonna be someone. It's gonna happen. So we got the treasons. We got one for what? Blood. One for what is it? One for
blood, one for gold, and one for love.
And one for love, right? So it's 3 treasons. So we know that we got the blood one out the way, right? That's Mirror Master with killing her son.
Yep.
So that's done. That's done. So we got what's the next one, Mo?
For love.
So one for love, and then it's one in between the love one. What's
one
the one
for gold. One for gold.
One for gold. So the gold, that's Jorah Mormont, I would think, maybe, right? I don't know. That's up for debate. Is it for gold if you want to consider Jorah? He was trying to get pardoned back you know, is that the one for gold? It's quite possible it could be considered that. It could be something else going down. And then the last one would be for love. And that's the one I'm sure that we haven't seen yet. And if that's going to be the case, it would have to, if it's going to be Melisandre, it would have to be her love for Grey Worm. That's the only thing I could see. Anyone else have anything to say about that?
That's where we're getting the differences between book and the show. I mean, because Melisandre is like 8 or something in the book. So she's not fucking with Grey Worm. So I don't know.
Yeah. LML, did you have anything to say on that?
Oh, that prophecy is just kind of maddening because it's like, well, is Jorah doing it for, you know, what is his reasons? Well, he loves his homeland. You know, it's like there's so many ways you can splice that out. What's for gold? And so I don't know. I'd throw my hands up at that one.
It's definitely. We got a super chat from Leslie Powell. And thank you for the super chat, beautiful Leslie. And we want to say, she says, the Theta symbol has appeared on multiple seasons. Why is Sansa the only character to prominently wear the Theta symbol? Why is that happening? Why is she wearing the Theta symbol? She's the only one wearing this Theta symbol.
So the circle with the horizontal line is a Theta. And if
I'm sorry, Theta. I'm from Queens, New York.
Yes.
I'm from Queens. I'm from New York. I say shit different. Theta.
It's a Greek letter. It's a letter of the Greek alphabet. And the if it's got a horizontal line and a circle, then that is a phi. And we have seen actually what we saw in the first season when the White Walkers made that circle with a vertical line out of the dead bodies. That looked more like a phi than a theta. What Sansa has does look like a theta in that it has the horizontal line. It seems like the circle with a line through it is an important symbol by itself to the Children of the Forest. Depending on which way you turn it, it looks like one or the other of phi or theta. And I think the producers are definitely referencing the meanings of phi and theta, but it's hard to tell exactly what it all is. I would say that Sansa is a symbol of the moon, kind of like Daenerys is. And the theta has to do with that. But it's kind of a long, stupid explanation, so I don't want to.
I have to steal this from a little bit from Mace the Pain. When you look at the symbol of Sansa, the first time you seen it, it was an open symbol. You could see the chains that there was a space, there was a gap in between it. And now that we see it, it's a closed symbol.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think that now you're seeing a 360 of Sansa, that she has come full circle all the way around, and she knows who she is as a person right now. And that is from Mace the Pain. I'm going to steal it from him right now because what's he gonna do?
All right, we got a new homie in the chat. Our main man, James Bouchel. What up, JB?
What's going on? What's going on? My camera's not working, but yeah, I'm here. I did want to jump in real quick.
Look at that skinny motherfucker in that picture. Who is that skinny motherfucker in that picture right there? Is that James Michelle?
Yeah.
That's James.
What up, JB, man? I'm just playing with you.
Yeah, I just want to jump in real quick. When you guys were talking about how how Tyrion's been stupid so far this season, I do think that it is kind of a contrived plot device. They're making him stupid because they need Dany to struggle, because she's too overpowered. I don't know if anyone said that, but I pretty much think that's the main reason why they're making him. They're just essentially making things harder for Dany. Because, I mean, dragons, she's too OP.
They had to drop Tyrion's IQ level so she wouldn't look OP on the screen, basically.
Pretty much.
No doubt. Yeah. If people don't know who JB is a member of the Hypes Watch, founding member. I'll tell you, on the pregame show, if you go back and look at the first pregame show last year that we did, James Michelle came on the first episode of the show and predicted just about the whole series. He predicted the death of Jon, how Jon would kill Ramsay. Said it right from the jump, first episode. He's going to beat him with his bare hands when it's all said and done. Boom, it happened. JB predicted a lot of things, so definitely if you ever want to see, check out his channel, check out the old things like that. JB, what was your favorite moment of the last episode?
I mean, how could it not be? The last sequence was pretty damn astonishing. Though I remember what we were chatting. I kept saying Bron's gonna die here. Bron's gonna die here. And I really thought when he missed the first miss on the Scorpion, when he missed against Drogon, that Drogon was going to roast his ass. But hey, at this point, Bronn is Nathan Drake, and he is a superhero. So, but that whole last part of that episode, I mean, that was the best part of the episode.
Moji, I got to take this call. Can you hold this down for me real quick?
Got you.
Thank you, bro.
JB, were you finished with your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the last part of the episode was the best part. I mean, I'm sure most people agree with that.
What was your rankings?
Like, what I gave the episode a 8.5, I believe, or somewhere around that range.
Okay, solid 8.5.
Solid, really good episode. Really good episode.
Hey, I'm like you, Moji. I had to pick two. Sorry, I had to pick two parts.
Favorite scenes?
Yes. And one was when Jaime was charging at Daenerys. I thought, like, LML said that was heroic. And also, yeah, when Bronn was on the Scorpion, that was badass. But, I mean, the whole sequence gave me hope for if they do a Dance with Dragon, or the Princess and the Queen, because it's like, that's what I was thinking of when I saw Drogon tearing shit up. I'm like, man, if they do the Princess and the Queen, and we see all these dragons, yeah, they could do it. That just gave me evidence right there, that episode, that last sequence.
Cool. Okay, I think I'm going to take another question, fellas. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about this dagger, because we haven't done anything about the dagger this episode. The dagger that Arya's got. Marco Minko asks, is it possible that the dagger may belong to somebody other than Littlefinger on the show? Is it possibly Rhaegar's dagger? Let's start with Don Willie.
I don't know if it's Rhaegar's dagger. I mean, like, because for one, what happened to Rhaegar's body after he was killed on the Trident? I don't even know if we know what happened with Rhaegar's body. There's still the whole thing about where Rhaegar's possessions are. I know Tony believes that the harp is in the crypts of Winterfell, waiting for Jon to discover it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it belonged to a Targaryen at some point, and most likely they're probably going to say that it belonged to Aegon the Conqueror. So, I forgot exactly what video it was that I was watching where they were saying that that Bran asking the question of, like, do you know whose dagger this belonged to, like, or who it belonged to, wasn't him asking Littlefinger, like, who was it before, whose dagger was it before you got it? It was more like it belonged to someone very famous. Do you know the person that it belonged to? And when Littlefinger, didn't know, it was like, all right, well, kick rocks then, buddy. Chaos is ladder. I know what you did.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, Littlefinger definitely gave Bran some hints. LML, what do you think, man? What do you think of this dagger, and who do you think it belongs to?
So I like the Rhaegar idea. I thought History of Westeros laid out a pretty good argument that it's reasonable. I mean, it's sitting around in Robert Baratheon's armory, essentially, before the events of the story begin. And it seems like a kind of thing a Targaryen might like. There's just nothing to directly connect it. It's just sort of like makes sense. But the bigger question is, what is it doing in the story, in the show? Like, what are they doing with it? I like the idea that Arya has it because Arya needs some Valyrian steel to fight others at some point. I mean, that I'm a big fan of. And Bran giving it to her is kind of like, wink, wink, you're going to need this to me. So.
Okay, Quinn, what do you think of the dagger, and who do you think it belongs to? Do you think it's Rhaegar's? Quinn, you're muted. You're muted. I think you're muted.
My bad. My connection went out. I had to do some stuff. But I think it doesn't really matter where it came from. I think that it was Littlefinger. This is the fact that Littlefinger lied to Catelyn about it, and that's what started the entire war. I think that's ultimately what matters. And as far as where the dagger's going to go, he gave it to Sansa for a reason. There's nothing that Bran's doing right now that without reason. He's totally manipulating people. He's manipulating the situation.
Yep.
And I think he's giving Arya that dagger. Kill Littlefinger. I think that's ultimately like what Bran wants her to do. But yeah.
The way he looked at Arya when he was giving her the dagger was so suspect. You knew it meant something, you know, not just him just randomly giving her a weapon. Yeah. JB, what do you think, man? Who do you think the dagger belonged to?
I mean, ultimately, I think the importance of the dagger is the fact that it is going to be used to kill Littlefinger. I mean, we obviously know they're setting up Bran with, you know, saying chaos is a ladder. So obviously Bran, you know, he went back to season 3, episode 6, put in the Blu-rays. You know, he caught that. Now he's going to go back to season 1, and then he's going to see, you know, Littlefinger screw his family over. And once he gets there, then we're going to see poetic justice with that dagger. Obviously, Arya and him staring daggers at each other at the end of that scene last week, to me, was a setup of what's to come. Does it matter? Is it Rhaegar's? I don't know. But I do know that it was Littlefinger's, and that it is going to end up back in his life in a bad way for him. I predict.
For sure. LT, what do you think, man?
Okay, so I agree with everybody else, but I'm going to pick a name out of a hat. I don't know why, but the name came to my mind. I'm going to say that dagger belonged to Daemon Blackfyre at one point. I don't know why. It just came to my mind.
Okay, we definitely know this dagger belonged to a Targaryen because when Sam was reading the book with Gilly at the Citadel, he saw the exact same picture of the dagger, and Sam told Gilly that the Targaryens used to put ornaments of dragon glass on their Valyrian steel. So that was confirmed to be a Targaryen dagger. We just don't know which Targaryen it belonged to. Supposedly this dagger in the books was in Robert Baratheon's armory that he took to Winterfell when he went to go visit Winterfell and tell Ned Stark he wanted him to be his hand. So for the Baratheons to be having this isn't weird because Robert basically inherited all the Targaryen weapons that were in King's Landing because there's no Targaryens to reclaim their weapons. There was no Targaryens around at Dragonstone to reclaim all the Targaryen weapons. So the Baratheon line took it.
Hey, Moji, can I read a comment here from Alicia Kingston, one of our moderators? She says, the dagger belonged to Visenya Targaryen. In her opinion, if you look at the hilt, it resembles Dark Sister, which was the sword of Visenya in the books. And she says that since we don't have Dark Sister in the show, perhaps the dagger is a stand-in for it. I thought that was a pretty cool idea.
That absolutely sounds right. Like just by hearing that feels right. It doesn't only sound right, it feels right.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
We know that Arya was, you know, she read about these warrior women in the past. And it would have some sort of, I don't know, I guess poetic meaning. I don't know. But it does seem plausible to me.
Yeah, and in the preseason of last year, remember last year when all the leaked pictures kept coming out and everybody thought that the knife that Cold Hands had which was Benjen in the pictures last year, was Dark Sister. When when the pictures came out of Mira and Benjen running into each other trying to save Bran in the woods last year, everybody thought Benjen had Dark Sister. So D&D know about this sword. They know what the significance is, and I think they're just using the dagger as a stand-in Valyrian steel weapon.
Which is essentially, that's what she's saying. And that's
exactly. Exactly. Okay, got all of us. I don't know, Teflon, are you back? Okay, not back.
Nope.
All right, let's hit another question. So many good questions. You guys got a rack of them. Okay. Curtis Williams asks, will we ever see the Children of the Forest in the show again? Don Willie?
I say thee nay, good sir. I think the Children of the Forest are beyond dead at this point.
All right. LML?
Maybe Bran might see him in a weirwood vision if they want to dust off all the prosthetics.
JB?
I agree with that. We won't see them in the current timeline, but we could see them in a vision potentially.
Quinn?
Okay, so I was really sad that the Children of the Forest died so quick in season 6, but
Yeah.
maybe there's one or two chilling in the Isle of Faces or somewhere. You know, they might pop up, but probably not. So
For sure. All right, LT.
Yeah, they all died defending trying to defend Bloodraven and Bran. But you know what? We might see some. Oh, never mind. Let me take this. Sorry, we'll see that in the book. There's probably half breeds in the book, Trump Force and people, but not in the show. So yeah, never mind. My bad. No, we won't.
Well, that's who's going to officiate on the Isle of Faces for Dany and Jon. It's like the last Children of the Forest.
yeah.
Like the thing is, when we saw the Night's King vision last year that Bran had, that when the Night's King was created by the Children of the Forest vision, we saw about 7 Children of the Forests in that one scene, but in the cave, 4 of them died. So where are the other 3? I don't know. Maybe that's an error from the television show.
It's kind of a little bit upsetting to me that we had to see them die. I feel like it would have been sadder if we knew that they were dwindling, but we don't see them die. Like it's like the elves in the Lord of the Rings. Like, you know, it's like a sad moment because they're all leaving, but we don't actually like see them die. So it's just like, oh, you wonder what happened. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and something crazy I saw in an article this week about Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven. When the Three-Eyed Raven died inside Bran's vision, does that mean that Bran downloaded all his content like a DLC?
Yes, that's exactly what I think happened. I think that Bran is him, and then Bran is also so much more. That's exactly what I think happened.
Yeah, you know how like you download a new game and you download the DLC content?
Yeah.
That's what happened, man. He died in Bran. He basically, his soul died inside Bran's soul. Basically.
It died inside the weirwood net, and Bran is like very connected to that at this point. Like Bran is
Right, like the weirwood net is a collective consciousness made of all the dead Greenseers, and so as soon as Bloodraven dies, he joins that collective consciousness, and Bran has that thing like joined with his mind. So
you guys think that's why Bran is like kind of more dead this season? He feels like he's not even there.
Yeah.
It's Bran is just like a tiny little personality like inside of this multi-conscious being. Like when you see this guy, this is not Brandon Stark. I mean, Brandon Stark is one of the things inside of him, but there's
He was assimilated.
yeah, exactly. He's assimilated into the Borg.
Holy
Resistance was
shit.
futile.
My one issue with the characterization is I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but it seemed to me that he was perfectly fine up to the point from when Bloodraven died to the point where he got to Winterfell. I didn't see the difference in character shift until he got to Winterfell. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but I felt that was the case.
It's probably just bad writing, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
Teflon, you're back.
I am back, God damn it. Sorry about that. I had to take that call. You know, no doubt about it. I had no choice but to do that. I am back, man.
What do you think about? Let me ask you. You're the last person to answer this question. What do you think of the dagger? Do you think it was Rhaegar's, or do you think this is a stand-in for Dark Sister on the television show?
This is a crazy question. There's a lot of different speculations going on. What's my hat doing up like that? Jesus Christ, that was terrible. You know, there's a lot of speculation going on about this goddamn dagger. A lot of different things could be going down with it. I think that there's definitely importance to it because we see it in the book. And if it wasn't in the book, I would just think it's a regular dagger, but there is something going on there. Now, it could be a stand-in for Dark Sister. It could be a stand-in for Dawn, or some type of dagger that has to sacrifice somebody when you have to use that dagger to sacrifice someone. What it is specifically, I haven't figured out myself in my head, but I do think that there is some importance to it. What I think about it when I think about daggers, as I said before, you could check out the video I did back. Arya's going to kill a White Walker. She will do it with that dagger. I think it means more that than anything else. But as for the backdated significance, it quite possibly could be. I've heard people say that it was Lyanna Stark's dagger that was given to her by Rhaegar as a wedding gift. Quite possible. I'm not going to tell you that it wasn't. I don't know though specifically, but I do know it would definitely come into play.
Okay, move on to the next question. Staying on topic with Bran. Somebody asked, will we get a Bran vision this season? If so, what do you think that'll be? Don Willie.
Damn it, we need to see the Tyrion and Harrenhal. I mean, that would be nice to get, just so we can get some damn details, because I don't think they're gonna have time to go into that next season at all, unless that is like the last episode where Bran is just like, John, I need to show you. Look. So yeah, I think that if we do get any Bran flashbacks this season, the one that we absolutely need is the Tyrion and Harrenhal. But it might be a thing where they may not do it because they don't want to spoil the books. Maybe, it could be a thing where George is like, you save that for the books. So, that's the one that I would want to see. But if they don't show it, I think I can understand why.
Okay, LML.
Yeah, that's have they cast? Does anybody know if they've cast a Rhaegar this year?
We had all that crazy speculation about that artist last year.
Yeah,
but that never came true. That was just leaked garbage.
So probably that will be next season that we get that, I would say. I always want Bran to see, like, some part of the Long Night disaster in the Weirwood Net. That's the thing that I'm thinking about, is like, whatever the cause of the Long Night is, we're going to need to deal with it. And the only way to really gather reliable information about it is Sam reading books or Bran seeing a vision. So I suspect they'll use the Bran visions to set up the new Long Night, like just before it happens, episode or two before it happens. Bran will see something to give us a clue so that it doesn't come out of nowhere. That's my guess.
All right, JB.
All right, so we've kind of thrown out the rule that that needs weirwood tree or weirwood to have a vision somewhere, because we saw inside the Tower of Joy. So I could see us having a vision of inside the Red Keep, in the throne room, of the Gold Cloaks, the City Watch turning on Ned, and Littlefinger putting a dagger to his father's throat. I think we might see that. We could see that, potentially see that vision this season, and that would be the catalyst to take out Littlefinger from the Starks.
So just real quick, technically in the books, a powerful green seer actually doesn't need a weirwood face to see through. They can see basically anything. That's something that Bloodraven says. It's kind of buried in there, but
yeah,
it's absolutely true. And then Bloodraven also, at one point in time, shows Bran the entire planet. He's like, "Hey, look at all this. There's your dad, and there's dragons over there, and there's the White Walkers."
Right. So we very well could see a vision like that, because that would be the catalyst to taking out Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Quinn, what do you think?
Bran's visions this season? Okay. I mean, I don't care about. I mean, I really don't care about the Rhaegar stuff. I don't care. I want to see something like LML said that has to do with like the Long Night, or like some stuff that like I'm so over like this whole who's who thing. I want to get into like the deeper mysteries of the world. So I want to see something, like the start of the Long Night, or like or like I've always hoped to see something that would give me an idea as to like the true nature of the White Walkers, because George R. R. Martin said from the beginning that they're not just attacking just to attack. So I'd love it if Bran would see something that would kind of like shed a little bit of light onto why exactly that they're doing what they're doing. That's what I would hope to see, but I don't know if we're gonna get that. Yeah, I'd love to see them talk to each other or something.
Yeah, I think like the R+L=J stuff is just trolling at this point. They need to just get that over with, so that they can use Bran's visions to move the plot. So they can use Bran's visions to move the story further, to give the audience more context, like showing us the Long Night, or what happened with Lightbringer, what happened with the original Azor Ahai in the first long night, you know, stuff like that.
I wish we would see that, but I feel like they don't. I don't know if it seems like they're going there. Like, you know, they barely brought up any prophecy. They barely talked about, you know, the Prince Al's promise Azor Ahai. I would love to see it, but I just question if they would actually do it.
Lady Warrior, to piggyback on this question, she asked, do you guys think Bran will show anybody a vision then? If you think there won't really be serious visions this season, do you think Bran will show anybody anything then in his visions?
Probably.
Probably the obvious one looks like Jon, right? All you guys can just talk at the same time if you think Bran will show
Jon or
anybody.
Sansa. I think eventually Bran will be like, hey, look at this. Look at what Littlefinger did. And then Sansa will be like, I want to kill you now. And then that'll be that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think if they have the Littlefinger vision, I mean, you could have Sansa and Arya both in there at the same time. And
so you think he's going to show them Littlefinger with the knife to Ned Stark's throat in the throne room?
Something like that. Something that will expose the fact that Littlefinger betrayed House Stark and is the reason that Ned Stark is dead, essentially.
So
okay,
I would say that the likelihood of Bran giving other people visions is high, and in the books in particular, Bran does this for Jon. Jon is a little bit slow to develop his warging ability with Ghost, and in the second book, he's dreaming and he sees a weirwood that has Bran's face, and Bran basically says